Kevin with TKA Health. Come on in, Kevin.
All right, just like Lori, I'm not yelling at you. I'm just trying to project so you can all hear me.
What?
As Jeremy said, my name's Kevin Cracy with TKA Health. We are a local employee benefits and health insurance brokerage based out of Coon Rapids. Today, we're going to talk about paid family and medical leave. Has anybody here not heard of what paid family and medical leave is or unsure what it entails? Okay, everybody's heard about it. I can sit down and go home. Perfect. Paid family and medical leave came about in 2023 during our legislature. They said we're going to enact it in 2025. It got pushed back 1 year. Start date January 1st, 2026 for every single employer in the state of Minnesota. That means if you have a W-2 employee, you are in this program, okay? There are 4 exceptions to that rule. You work for the federal government, you work for the railroads, you work for seasonal hospitality, or your employee makes less than $3,800 per year. Not per quarter, not per month, per year. If you have any part-time employees who make more than that, you need to pay into the program. They are eligible, okay? There are 2 components to paid family and medical leave, okay? First, paid. Every employee who is part of this program who takes leave gets up to 90% of their wages back, okay? It is a sliding scale based on how much you earn throughout your year in a rolling 4 quarters, actually. Up to 90%, the cap on benefits is $1,372 per week, okay, of leave. Second component, job protection. This goes above and beyond FMLA. FMLA is a federal program eligible for employers who have 50 employees or more. This supersedes that. If you have an employee who works for you and has worked for you for longer than 90 days, their job is protected if they take leave. They can take full leave. You must keep that job for when they come back, okay? Also part of job protection, there's no retaliation. Lawyers are gonna have a field day with this one. HR is gonna have a field day for this one. When an employee comes back from leave, you cannot retaliate against said employee for being gone for that maximum of 20 weeks or however long they take leave, okay? Third part, paid family medical leave. Really fun. It's a rolling calendar. We are no longer working January 1st to December 31st. If an employee takes a leave starting on April 14th, their calendar resets April 14th of next year, okay? So it's a rolling calendar. It is a brand new rolling calendar for every single employee you have. That means if you have 20 employees, you could have 20 different calendars. Think about trying to manage all of those leaves at one time, okay? Now, the guts of paid family and medical leave. How can you take leave? When can you take leave? There are 2 separate styles. First, medical, pretty self-explanatory. If I am injured, my personal self, I get up to 12 weeks in one rolling calendar year to take leave. I need a doctor's note. In order to take that leave, file that claim, whether you're with the state of Minnesota or you're with a private carrier. Second, nice and gray, family leave. There are 4 types of family leave. 1, active duty service. If a family member is going on active duty, you're eligible for paid family and medical leave. 2, safety. If you or a family member is being stalked, harassed, has been abused in any way, shape, or form, you are eligible for leave, okay? Third, baby bonding. Baby bonding is pretty self-explanatory. Mom or dad are able to take 12 weeks of baby bonding time up until that child is 1 year old. They do not have to take it immediately, okay? Fourth, and most importantly, the definition for the 4th piece of this piece of legislation is any person who materially impacts your life and needs care, you are eligible to take leave for. It is not defined as family member. It is not defined as blood relative. It is defined as anyone who materially impacts your life. I was on a webinar in March. I asked a deed employee from the state of Minnesota, my downstairs neighbor affects my life. She needs help with care. Can I take leave? Yes, you can take leave as long as her doctor says you need to take care of her for any period of time. Okay? It opens up the door quite wide. Okay, what does this mean for business owners? Okay, first, it's a payroll tax on gross payroll. Okay, if you have 31 or more employees, it is a 0.88% standard rate. That means $880,000 on $880 on $100,000 in payroll. Okay, if you have 31 or more employees, if you have 30 or fewer employees, you qualify for the small business rate of 0.66% or $660 on $100,000 in payroll. Doesn't sound like a whole lot, but it adds up rather quickly, right? You get to $2 million in payroll and you're paying quite a bit in tax already, okay? State of Minnesota graciously allowed private carriers to come in and offer equivalent plans. You have options. You are not required to go with the state of Minnesota. That being said, we have less than 55 days to apply for that exemption. Okay? I will tell you, I've submitted over 30 quotes to carriers. The lead time is getting longer and longer. The longer you wait, the more the backlog gets jammed up, the less likely you are to be qualified for that exemption. Please do not wait if you are questioning whether or not you should go with the state of Minnesota. Okay?
Which party is collecting revenue or unemployment?
Say it again?
Which party is collecting Minnesota revenue or Minnesota?
Unemployment. Great question. So this is run by the Minnesota Department of Unemployment. So it will be, if you go with the state of Minnesota, you go into the unemployment portal. They will use that dollar amount that you fill in for your unemployment insurance and taxes, and they'll use that as your payroll number and then add the tax on top of that. It is billed quarterly in arrears. Okay? I'm going to give you some fun facts, and we'll compare the state of Minnesota and private carriers for a minute. Okay? Minnesota is a standard rate. You're either a 0.88 or a 0.66. Private carriers are individually underwritten. We take censuses from your company and we say, hey, we're going to look at all these individuals and we're going to give back a rate. Right now, we're 90% of the time underneath the state rate, whether you're at 0.88 or 0.66. Okay? Second thing, we're going to talk about claims, okay, for your employees and for you. The state of Minnesota has decided to be the only state of the 13 states that offer paid family and medical leave not to pre-fund the claims account. Let me tell you why that's a problem. It's billed quarterly in arrears. There's no money in the account on January 1st, but you're eligible to take leave on January 1st. They set aside money from the surplus that no longer exists. They decided they wanted to use lotto proceeds in order to help bridge that gap. By their latest calculation, they're about $600 million short. Okay? Every single carrier that we represent 12 of the 17 different carriers who offer paid family and medical leave programs, are in every single other state who offers the plan. They make a lot of money doing it. They have money to pay claims. Okay? Experience. Let's talk about calling the state. How many of you have called the state and had a great experience? It's been quick, right? You're not on hold very long. You don't have to deal with much. There's never any back and forth, right? It's really fun getting a different person every time you call. When you use a private carrier, you get one person for your claim. So every employee you have calls, they get one person for the entirety of their claim. You have a business relationship representative from each carrier. Okay, the experience is going to be a lot better. When we talk about the comparison for state and private plans, you have the option to switch quarterly, okay? So let's say you missed the deadline. Whoops, that's me. I'm way over.
Well, or focus on what you got going on there, and then we'll wrap up. Yeah, then.
Okay, so you have the option to switch quarterly. I'll leave you with this. You can switch quarterly. If you start with a private plan and you go back to the state at any point, you're locked in for 3 years, regardless of rate change. You cannot leave the state of Minnesota. Your application for private insurance exemption will be denied, okay? I'll leave you with that. If you have questions, which I'm sure all of you do and are going, what the hell were you just talking about? Please give me a call. Send me one of the one-to-one slips. Sorry, I know I went over. I'll leave you with this. September 16th, I'm doing a lunch and learn at the Metro North Chamber offices. If you have questions, please show up. I'll get into individual scenarios. We'll get into details. It will be at least an hour long. Usually they end up being an hour and a half with questions, concerns, comments, all that fun stuff. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You have time for some questions.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Hit 'em.
This includes even those S corporation sole owners of a company, correct? If there's a person that owns an S corporation and they have to take payroll, they have to get this to be included in this.
If you take a W-2 of any form, you are included automatically. If you are a solopreneur, you can opt in if you would like. You are not required to participate as a solopreneur who only takes a draw.
But it's
Okay.
available.
It's available. So, go ahead, Lori.
No, go ahead.
Oh.
Meaning a sole proprietor, I'm talking tax terms now.
Yeah, a sole proprietor.
If you don't file a separate tax return and you have a solo business
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have any employees, that's the only time you could opt in if you want to. Otherwise, any W-2 has to be.
Correct. Any W-2 over $3,800 within a rolling 4 quarters.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about how employers can split this tax with employees?
Yes, I do. So we talked about the 0.88% and the 0.66% based on the size of the company. You are eligible to pass off 0.44% of this tax to your employees, regardless of the rate you receive, okay? So that means we have companies who've gone with private carriers and they've received rates as low as 0.59%. They are still eligible to pass off 0.44% of this tax onto employees. At the same time, even if you have a 0.88%, you're still eligible to pass off that 0.44%. Our recommendation, either pass off none of it or all of it. Don't go in between, don't try and get cute. Okay, it will cause payroll issues down the road. It's not worth it. Okay, 0.44% for most people shouldn't break the bank, right? On $100,000, it's $440, $220 on $50,000 in a year, right? So if you break that down into pay periods, you're at, I can't even math right now, $8 per pay period ish. Any other questions? Great, I've sufficiently scared you all.
This is totally separate from FMLA.
Yes, so this is totally separate from FMLA. FMLA is 50 employees or more, federal requirement. This is also totally separate from ESST, which is a whole bunch of fun. So people are eligible to take ESST for their first 7 days or so. And then paid family and medical leave kicks in at the 8th day, but you get paid back to day 1.
So
Double dipping.
So that,
It is.
that clock starts over the second they clock back in again.
Yep.
So they keep accruing and they can keep up to 80 hours
Yep.
in that rollover bucket of the ESST.
Yep.
So like if they knew they were going to be pregnant,
Yeah.
they got to stage it out. It's pretty fun, guys. I'm so excited about this. It's all about our employees.
Oh, yep. Okay. So employers or employees who have given birth in the year 2025, doesn't matter if it's January 1st or December 31st. Mom and dad are eligible for baby bonding time for up until that child is 1 year. Okay? So, for example, my sister-in-law gave birth in April. She took leave this year from her company. She got paid for leave this year from her company. Guess what she's gonna do next year before baby turns 1? She's gonna take leave again for 12 weeks of job-protected paid leave. So, anybody who's had a baby this year, you will not see them next year for at least 12 weeks, okay? Two important notes on that. One, this leave does not have to be consecutive. You do not have to take all 12 weeks at the same time. So here's an interesting one for people is when we talk about pregnancy, the way that my wife and I would play it if she had a baby starting January 1st, 2026, she would take 20 weeks of protected leave. At about the 16th week, I would start my 12 weeks of leave. I don't have to put my child into daycare until it's been 28 weeks after that baby's been born. Okay? Here's the other one that we've seen in other states. There are going to be 2 waves of people taking leave. January 1st, when everybody figures out it happens. And more importantly, June 1st. Nobody's going to want to work during the summer. Nobody's going to want to pay childcare during the summer when their kids are not in school. They are going to want to get paid to be at home or the cabin or the boat or wherever without having to pay for childcare.
Can employers group that with your PTO? So let's say that 2 weeks PTO a year. Can you say that's up after?
Great question. You are not allowed to require PTO to be taken. It is against the law. Now it's not a policy, it's against the law to require an employee to take any form of leave other than paid family and medical leave first.
Are there any requirements for educating employees of
Yep,
this?
great question. December 1st, you must notify every employee in writing of their rights, responsibilities as it relates to this law, as well as any payroll deduction that will happen. Okay, the state of Minnesota is going to send out the posters that, the OSHA posters, the workplace, right? Apparently they're sending them to every business. Nobody's seen any of them yet. So I'm crossing my fingers they actually show up before January 1st. But you, as a business owner, are still responsible for notifying all of your employees by December 1st, regardless of what direction you go.